Hello everyone, it's me, your girl Asia from One Rain Swango channel. Welcome back to my channel. I have missed talking to y'all. I know I've been kind of MIA, or you guys could say inconsistent with my video topics. I really apologize for that. I know my loyal ones, y'all have been sticking out with me, and y'all know how I get sometimes. I just want to say this. I hate when I'm really inconsistent, especially when I have videos that I really want to talk about, and I get in this mood where it's just like I don't feel like making videos. But I just be having so much real life shit going on that I sometimes forget that, you know, sometimes coming on here and talking really does feel a lot better. But you know what? I'm in good spirits today, and I'm going to be in good spirits for tomorrow and tomorrow. So the only time you guys probably won't see me making videos is probably when it's holidays. So on the 4th of July, I probably won't be making these topics, but I do know I want to talk about Degrassi. I just watched the girl made a video talk about the worst Degrassi love triangles, and I just want to make a response, or, you know, give my little take on Degrassi love triangles. Now, most of the love triangles she mentioned in here, to me, in my opinion, I don't really think of them as love triangles, but I'm going to mention the ones that she, you know, put in here. If it's a love triangle that I actually like, or it's a couple in here that she might have put in here that was a love triangle, I'm going to mention and think, to me personally, I don't think it was that. So we're going to get into all that. But y'all know I'm still making my Legend of Korra video, like I said. As a matter of fact, I will be doing that tomorrow for Legend of Korra. I'm going to be talking about, y'all already know, talk about the show, comparing it to Avatar Last Airbender to see which one I prefer over. We're going to get into all that. And I still have the Degrassi video of the feds and their anger with the representation of the LGBTQ characters in Degrassi. We're going to get into all of that. Nothing is left off the table. Like I always say, if there's topics that you guys want me to make, please let me know. I will do them, because this channel started with me making Degrassi content, and I don't think it's ever going to stop. So let's get into this video. So I want to make a little, you know, give my little thoughts on the girl's video who, you know, makes exceptional Degrassi content. I love her videos for the most part. Whenever she uploads something that's Degrassi wise, she definitely does make me want to dive deeper when it comes to my Degrassi content, because, you know, she talks about everything. She made a video about 6 hours ago called The Worst Degrassi Love Triangles. Most of the love triangles in here, the ones she showed, I didn't really care too much for, because they're characters I don't care for, like the Holly J, Declan, and Sav shit. I don't care for none of those characters. I don't care for Declan, don't care for Holly J, never care for Sav. So as far as the whole thing with Holly J with Declan and all that, I didn't really care too much for it, because I never was really emotionally invested in Declan and Holly J's relationship, really, to really sit here and say, oh yeah, Holly J should have picked Declan, or how dare she pick Sav. You know, I never really was emotionally invested in a relationship on whether or not they were in game or whether they were not. I really didn't care. Now, there are two love triangles in here for a fact that I know that I love deeply that she put in here called The Worst. Now, one of the love triangles she put in here that I would not count as a love triangle is the Winston, Frankie, and Lola shit in season 14. That is not a love triangle. As a matter of fact, y'all know how much I hate, actually, there's 3 love triangles she mentioned in here that were bad, that I truly like. There is one of them I truly do it's kind of confused. I don't even know how to explain it. The love triangle, I like it because of drama. Degrassi is drama, it's teenagers. I like mess, I like drama. But I feel like the love triangle and everything in it was really fucking unnecessary. So I'll probably say it like that. So yes, there are 3 love triangles in here that I truly do like as far as storyline purposes. But the whole Winston, Frankie, and Lola thing, I don't know why that's in here, because I never looked at it as a love triangle whenever I watched the show. Never, ever. I never looked at it as it was a love triangle, because y'all know how much I hate season 14. I thought season 14's writing was horrible. I feel like they could have done better. And I feel like the one couple on the show, to me, that should have just always stayed together, there should have never been any of them. It should never been them breaking up or any of that. It's Frankie and Winston. I've never made a video of me expressing why I like the relationship so much, but I absolutely love Frankie and Winston. I think Frankie being with Winston was good for her. She deserved to be with someone like Winston. And you know, since she basically kind of like grew up with him, you know, him being Miles' best friend, them knowing each other, it just makes a whole lot easier in my opinion. So I never really understood why they had Winston kiss Lola. I thought that was really shitty, honestly. I thought that was really bad writing and not good material. Winston could have kissed any other bitch in the Degrassi hallways, but he decided to put his motherfucking lips on Frankie's best friend. And then it's like, it's the fact he walked around and tried to pretend like it didn't happen. And it sucks that Lola was the one who said something, but not Winston. It kind of reminded me of like Degrassi, right? Where, not Degrassi, Gossip Girl, right? When Serena came back to town and she didn't even think she owed Blair an explanation for why she ran off that night, why she just disappeared. You feel me? I'm not mad that Nate was the one who told Blair that he cheated on her. You feel me? Because I feel like if Blair was going to get that information, it should have been for her boyfriend. But Serena should have told her the truth. You invited this girl out for drinks and you sat her motherfucking face the whole night and never mentioned like, hey Blair, for the record, the real reason I ran away is because I made a mistake that night. And the mistake was me and Nate got really drunk, even though that's not an excuse. We got drunk and, you know, we just had sex. And I really couldn't live with that shit because it's like, damn, I really just had sex with my best friend's boyfriend. How the fuck can I do that? Like, she literally sat at the bar with Blair and never mentioned any of this. She didn't mention any of it. And then she's confused on why Blair got bad blood with her. I don't get the mentality. So it's the same thing. It's the same issue I have with the Frankie, Winston, and Lola shit. If Frankie was going to get the information that Winston did what he did, it should have been from Winston. It should not have been from Lola. I feel like, you know, if Winston, I feel like Winston should have told Frankie, and then I feel like, because if you're telling me if Lola told Frankie wasn't mad at her either. She wasn't even mad at Lola. She was mad at Winston, and I feel like she should have been mad at both of them, even though they're going with this whole thing like, oh, but Winston kissed her. It's still the fact that she kept it a secret. If she really felt bad about the kiss, she would have told Frankie immediately when it happened. But she kept it a secret. So to me, that's like saying if you fuck my boyfriend, if you're my best friend, but you kept it a secret, that's like, that to me, that makes me feel like you didn't really feel bad about the kiss or sleeping with them, honestly. So me personally, I don't know why she has that in here. For why she had that in there for as a love triangle. I don't really count that as a love triangle. I think it was really stupid to break Frankie and Winston up. I think it was stupid to have Winston cheat on Frankie, honestly, in my opinion. And I really thought it was really, really dumb when Frankie caught feelings for another guy to break Claire and Winston up. And I feel like Frankie being with Jonah, not a fan of it. I never ever liked the relationship. I was so against it from the beginning. I don't know. I feel like Jonah and Frankie, they were doomed from the beginning. I just don't think they ever want to work because they came from two different worlds. If everything Frankie wanted from Jonah and he was willing to do it in his next relationship, to me, that just shows me Frankie just wasn't the one for him. You feel me? And, you know, whenever I get on here, I try to, you know, use my own personal relationships for an example. So, my ex-boyfriend, the one who constantly come in and out of my life telling me how much he loved me, there's a lot of things that I asked him to do in our relationship that he didn't do for me. And then when he got engaged or got married or whenever he got into this other relationship, he did. I should tell him all the time he should go to therapy and talk about, you know, his mother leaving him at 5 years old, dealing with that abandonment. He never did it. I always told him that he should get a job. He never did it. He didn't do those things until he got in his next relationship. I took that as, okay, was I not the right one for him to want to make those changes? or was he in a time in his place, or was he in a time in his life where he felt like he wasn't ready to make those changes? Like, people don't understand the type of shit that goes through your mind when you were completely in love with someone and you still are, and they make changes for some other person that you asked them to do in your relationship and they never did. So you either take it as, okay, so was this other person they with, did they make those changes for them? Or was there a point in time where they just wasn't ready to make those changes? And then it's like really confusing for real, for real. So it's like, even though he never made those changes for me, and he likes to come into my life and tell me that he's still in love with me, I don't think he's lying about that, because I always felt like my ex-boyfriend, you know, was impulsive when he made decisions to get married. There's nothing in this world that would make me want to put a ring on someone's finger when I know my feelings is still with someone else. You feel me? And I'm too grown to be giving any grown-ass man an ultimatum or anything. You know who you want. You know who you're still in love with. Be a motherfucking man and say, I am not happy in this relationship, and I married you because I couldn't have who I really wanted at the time. That's real shit. You feel me? Instead, you want to lead somebody on. Like, I know I went a little personal and in depth, but I just want to use an example. You feel me? With the whole Jonah and Frankie shit. That's how I feel. Like, everything Frankie was asking from Jonah, like, communicate more and just commit to her, things like that. He would not do that. He made it seem like anything. He made it seem like whenever Frankie asked him to do something, or she would ask him to meet her halfway, he took it as she was like trying to set a challenge, or that she didn't appreciate him, or that he wasn't good enough. No, she's simply asking you to give her more than what you've been given. She's been giving you all of you, you've been giving her half of you, and it's not true. But it's like, as soon as he got with Grace, he committed, communication. He could say the word I love you, all of that, but he wasn't able to do it in his last relationship. He took it as, oh, she's complaining, oh, she don't really like me. Like, I ain't like that shit. So I feel like Frankie and Winston should never broke up, and I feel like, okay, I understand with them breaking. I feel like Winston should never cheat on Frankie, and I get them breaking up at the end of season 13 because her catching feelings for another dude. But I feel like in next class, they should did something where they worked things out and talked things out, and they should became a couple again. That's just how I feel. Because I'm not going to lie, Frankie's feelings sometimes was all over the place. She definitely was hot and cold and wishy-washy and indecisive. So I understand that point of it. I feel like if they weren't going to do something like that, then they could at least did a love triangle or something. You feel me? Because I didn't like at the end of season 14 that Winston was trying to compare and contrast their pain. Try to make it seem like, oh, what she did was 10 times worse than what he did. But it's like, what they both did wasn't right. Her catching feelings and getting emotionally attached to someone else when she was with Winston. Frankie emotionally cheated. Winston physically cheated. Neither one of them are in the right. In my opinion, they both in the wrong. They both did something in a relationship. But the fact that he can't give her a second chance after what she did, and she gave him a second chance after what he did, it just shows the double standard that men don't like when they're the ones who get cheated on. Men would never ever give a woman a second chance if a woman cheated on them, but it's always a woman who has to be so fucking forgiving. I hate that shit. Another thing she had on here that I don't cut as a love triangle is the whole Esme and Zig and Maya stuff from, I guess you could say, season 4. I don't look at that as a love triangle simply because of the fact that I never was really a fan of Zig cheating on Maya. I always thought that shit was retarded. And I never understood why in season 2 they had Maya chasing Zig when he was the one who cheated. And then she was willing to take him back even though he didn't take any accountability. But then she changed her mind and said, no, I don't want you. I need time to rethink things. Zig is thirsty as fuck. And I feel like nobody ever mentions that. This nigga was the thirstiest nigga in Degrassi. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all can talk about your Drews. Y'all can talk about your Craigs. Zig was the thirstiest nigga in the Degrassi hallways. Because it's the simple fact that as soon as he did what he did to Maya, he could not wait to get another bitch face. Because someone else would say, oh, but him and Maya broken up, so why he can't be another girl face? because it's the way he was doing it. He didn't even like Esme for real season 2. He was just in her face to make Maya jealous, and it worked. Because he knew if he had done what he knew if he was in Esme's face and then posted her all over his social media, he know Maya was going to be watching and she's going to say something to him about it. And that's exactly what happened. Like, how is it that, why is Maya chasing him when he's the one who fucked up? That makes no sense. I don't count that as a love triangle in my opinion. I don't. I think Zig was really thirsty. I feel like he was giving Esme that attention when him and Maya broke up. I never really cared for him and Esme's relationship. I always felt like, you know, this is just something they're doing until they put Zig and Maya together. But I never thought, you know, Maya and Zig finally getting back together would have been the last season of Degrassi. That's just stupid. That's why I always said that I feel like Maya and Zig's love story and their relationship, all of it, is kind of overrated. Don't get me wrong. The two leads, Ricardo and Olivia, they definitely had chemistry. But when you go back and look at the show, just ask yourself, does their love story actually live up to the hype that we put it on? The standard that we put it on, does it actually live up to that? It's the same thing I asked about the Eclair shippers. Does Eli and Claire love story actually live up to the standard that you motherfuckers put it up on? Because I don't think so. Like I said, I was in high school when I started rewatching Degrassi. So I was there with all the Eclairs and the diehards and saying, oh yes, they're the megas. The megas, they are the Antichrist, they are the Jesuses, the gods. They are the number one relationship in Degrassi. A lot of people feel like they just the it couple, no other couple fucking matters in Degrassi, they are number one. But then it's like when you go back and watch the show, and you just go back and watch it, and just go back and watch it, and go back and watch it. Does Eli and Claire relationship actually give off to that standard that y'all like to put it on? No. I feel like Eli and Claire's love story is overrated as fuck. Overrated as fuck. Their relationship is overrated as fuck. I think one of the main reasons why I despise the relationship now is because I saw too much of them. There was never a moment where Eli and Claire wasn't on your screen or where the writers wasn't throwing their relationship in your motherfucking face. There never ever wasn't a moment. Never ever. And I always felt like the amount of time that they gave them, they could have given that to any other relationship that really needed it. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. So no, I don't look at the whole Esme, Zig, and Maya thing from season 4 as a love triangle. Yes, I feel like, first of all, I just want to know, why the fuck is Esme so shocked that Zig even feels the type of way that Maya almost killed herself? He's still in love with her. That love has never went away. What do you think you and him been doing for the last, senior year, I think? What do you think they've been doing for his entire senior year, for their entire senior year? He honestly was just with her until Maya said yes. Because, let's be for real, when him and Maya broke up, he wasn't even checking for Maya. He was with Esme. And then it's like, oh, y'all want to do something now in season 4 where he finally breaks up with Esme. And now y'all want to just say, oh yeah, Zig always has feelings for Maya. I think he still was in love with her. I don't think that shit ever went away. But you can't sit here and tell me that he was checking for Maya the whole time. I refuse to believe that. I don't give a fuck. The writers, y'all not going to try to fool me, try to gaslight me, try to manipulate me. No, I refuse to believe that. Refuse. I don't look at this as a love triangle for real, because there was no tug and pull, honestly. Maya just came back from rehab. She just came back from being depressed, almost committing suicide. She wasn't thinking about no relationship, you feel me? She just was trying to get her friends again, trying to get back to being normal, trying to get back to school being on track, you feel me? She was not thinking about a relationship. I understand if Ismay felt insecure and threatened, because who the fuck would it? You feel me? Everyone is telling her that Maya is the best love story and everything he's ever had, so then it's just like, that's the case, what the fuck is he with me for? Feel me? I understand why Esme was in that mindset, but I also think she needed to understand that Zig was always in love with Maya. So that's just that. A love triangle in here, I definitely wish they would have done more with. I know a lot of people like to count the whole Minnie, Craig, and Ellie thing as a love triangle season 5. Me personally, I don't think so. I think Craig has feelings for Ellie in season 5. I'm going to say the same thing I said in a video. I think Craig has feelings for Ellie. but I think him going out with Manny was easier because Manny wasn't a challenge. He knew he could do whatever he wanted with Manny, and he knew that she was never going to leave, or he knew that she was always going to have some type of feelings for him. I feel like with Ellie, that's the real challenge. That's someone who challenges him. That is, Ellie is someone who inspires him to be something better. You feel me? And I understand the Craig for like, when me and Ellie are friends, I don't want to confuse it with love or with feelings, because what if the relationship don't work and we never talk again? I don't really think of that as a love triangle, for real, for real. They could have done something with that, but they didn't. I feel they could have made Sean, Ellie, and Emma into a love triangle, but they didn't do that. I don't look at the Emma, Peter, and Sean shit as a love triangle. Come on now, come on. We know Sean and Emma are the real end game, so why are y'all even shocked or surprised that she would even be going back to... Oh, shit. So why are y'all even surprised that she would be going back to him when she broke up with Peter? I'm not shocked, nor am I surprised. The fuck? We all know Emma and Sean are the real endgame, you feel me? And sorry about the noise, that was my TV. We all know they the real endgame. I don't count that as a love triangle in my opinion. I really don't. I don't count it as a love triangle. But I feel like a relationship or a love triangle, I guess you could say, that they could have done more with in the show. I really just feel like they could have went deeper with the Drew, Katie, and Bianca love triangle. I know they was really trying their hardest to make it into a love triangle in season 11 and 12, but it just didn't feel that way. And I say that because we all kind of, it's just, the reason why I feel like they didn't try their hardest because I feel like Bianca was really MIA in season 11 after the whole gang storyline kind of ended. She kind of went MIA, right? Her character. I wish if they would have done something earlier where we would have saw that, yes, Drew still has feelings for Bianca, instead of doing it so late. That would have been fun. It would have made more sense. Because then it's like we could do something where Katie knows Drew still has feelings for Bianca, but she wants to be picked, if that makes sense. They could have went really deep into that, but it didn't feel like a love triangle. Love triangle though. Katie was on drugs. Drew didn't already emotionally checked out a relationship with Katie when she was on drugs. He already knew he was still in love with Bianca and he wanted to be with her. That's not a love triangle. It just felt like a love story tattooing for Drew and Bianca. Katie was on drugs. She was high all the time, out of her mind for the most part. She even know what the fuck was going on. So I don't count that as a love triangle in my opinion. No. Neither do I count the love triangle with Dave, Allie, and the girl he had a fling with over the summer. I don't count that as a love triangle either. That's a great storyline, but I don't count it as a love triangle. I'm not gonna lie, she is absolutely right. I do feel like sometimes when Degrassi didn't know what to do with their characters or forgot how to do certain storylines, they would just throw a love triangle in there. I'm not even going to mention the other love triangles in there because I don't care for Jake and Katie. Never care for the Eli and Imogen and Claire shit. Never care for the Eli, Claire, and Jake shit. The Claire and Casey and Jenna love triangle is okay, but I don't care for season 9, so that's all I'm gonna say to it. And I don't think the Drew, Allie, and Bianca thing was really a love triangle for real. Like I said, that felt more like a Drew and Bianca thing, and Allie was just caught in the middle. It was mess. It was drama. Drew got a blowjob from another girl while he was in a relationship with Allie. That's mess. I love mess. I love messy shit. Yes, sauce that shit up like it's a Chipotle burrito. Like, sauce it up. You feel me? So, no, I don't look at that as a love triangle either. I know there's other ones on there too that I might have to look at. Let me see. I got my phone right here because if I play it on the TV, it's just going to be super loud. So, let me just go to my YouTube app. But I said there's 3 love triangles I actually like. There's actually 4 because scanning through her video, I just saw one that I really did like. So, before I even get to those, I'm going to try to see, was there any other ones that she had put in here? Let's see. Oh, she put the Becky, Adam, and Imogen one in there. I don't think I would count that as a love triangle, simply because I didn't really care for Imogen, and I literally forgot that she had to repeat her 12th grade year. So I never really cared for her character, honestly. And I feel like Adam and Becky, they are a relationship on the show that definitely could have gotten more material. If you'd already knew you were going to kill Adam off, then what the fuck was the point? Adam finally got a relationship. He finally got with someone who accepted him for being who he is. And we don't get to see much of the relationship. They just kill him off within 10 episodes of season 13. Pointless, motherfucking pointless. And at that point, Imogen's character was just thrown in relationships. I didn't care for the Liberty and JT and Mia shit. Mia was just trying to find a baby for her baby daddy. Is his name? Is his name Devin or Damien? The black guy that Emma was with. I don't count this as a love triangle either, honestly. Damon was just cheating for real, and he was trying to have his cake and eat it too. He wanted to be with Emma, and he wanted to be with Liberty on the side. The fact that he got tossed around by all three of them, to this day, that shit is always crazy to me, that they chose his character for that storyline. Like, and then y'all talk about, oh, it's nasty, but it's like, Degrassi is to date everyone's show. Like, both Manny and Emma went out with this nigga, and then Liberty kissed him. So there's really nothing else to say, for real. And I feel like the reason why people were really mad about the storyline, because I feel like they treated Liberty like she was ugly. And I feel like in season 7, she was very fucking beautiful. Like at the prom, when she came in there without her glasses on, she was beautiful. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. So there's that. The Marco and all that shit, I don't care for it. Okay, so for the most part, she do have some relationships in here that I don't care for, and then for the most part, she has some in here I do care about. So the 4 love triangles that I'm going to mention that she put in here that she said that were bad and I disagree with are the Manny, Craig, and Ashley love triangle is the most iconic love triangle in Degrassi. I don't really have to say too much. If y'all watching this video, y'all already know about the Manny, Craig, and Ashley love triangle. It was iconic. It was messy as fuck. I know she said she didn't like it because she didn't like that Manny was so thirsty for Craig, but that was Manny's character. So I'm not gonna get mad at Manny for being the way her character was written. Manny was thirsty, and she was delusional as fuck because she refused to believe that Craig really only used her for a sexual object. He literally told Ashley in the episode of the Battle of the Bands that if Ashley wasn't such a prude, he would have never ran off and got that pussy from Manny. We just gonna put it as that. I'm gonna put it very blunt and viral. He basically just slut shamed Manny. This bitch that he dated in season 5 was with in season 6 and all of that, got pregnant. He just slut shamed her in season 3 and said, you know what, Ashley, if you would have been putting out, I never would have had to run to another girl. He was having sex with Manny because she was putting out there. Manny was easy. I don't understand why y'all I don't know why y'all want to sit here and pretend like it's not true. Manny's character has always been thirsty to me. She's always been insecure. She's always been a pick-me. So I'm confused. Why y'all mad that that's the way the show broke her in this love triangle? Did she not like Craig in season 2? She did. And when he said he didn't like her, that broke her self-worth or broke her whatever she had going on to thinking that she couldn't be herself to be with a guy. She couldn't be her lovey-dovey or inner child self. She couldn't like stuffed animals or cotton candy because Craig looked at that stuff as immaturity. So what? She started wearing thongs, start wearing no panties, start wearing crop tops and belly shirts, and then all of a tight shorts and tight pants. And now all of a sudden she getting that attention from the niggas because they want her to be thirsty. They want her to put herself out there. You feel me? So I don't know why y'all mad at that. This little triangle does not suck. The Craig, Manny, and Ash storyline is the most iconic love triangle in the show. Period. Another love triangle in here that she put in here and she said she did not like is the Maya, Zig, and Cam love triangle. I like this love triangle, even though it kind of just started in season 12, and Cam kind of passed away by committing, what he did. I'm not mad at it. The reason why I feel like Maya and Zig kissing when Maya and Cam broke up isn't confusing, because I do remember when me and my sister watched it, when we watched season 12, and we saw when he kissed Maya, me and her was like, okay, this is so out of nowhere. Why would Maya and Zig kiss each other? But then when I went back and watched season 11, I was thinking in my head, oh no, this is not random at all, because Maya and Zig liked each other when season 11 started. There was an attraction there. They liked each other. So, of course, in season 12, it kind of just made sense that when she break up with Cam, that her and Zig would kiss, and now it included all these old feelings that were there. So, I'm not upset about it, for real, for real. I understand why my sister would have felt like it was out of nowhere, because, at the time, I felt the same way that it was out of nowhere. But maybe it's because I didn't connect the dots. Like, oh my God, this was out of nowhere. But it's like when you go back and watch season 11, the second half of season 11, you really see that it really wasn't out of nowhere. That with Maya and Zig, that kind of was the end game. You feel me? With the writers, but I feel like they did not want to put them together so fast, so quickly. Because if we be honest, they could have put them together in season 11 for real. I don't see why not, because in that entire episode, we saw that they really liked each other. So, what was the problem? You feel me? What was the problem? There really wasn't a problem. Instead of Zig being with Tori the entire show, being one of the most forgettable relationships, he could have been with Maya. But I'm not mad that Maya was with Cam, because I absolutely loved her and Cam. I feel this way now. That I feel like Maya and Cam really should have been in game for real. And some of y'all might hate me. I feel like if Maya and Cam were gonna be in game, then I feel like I wouldn't have been mad if Maya and Miles were in game. If someone's gonna be like, oh shit, what you mean by that? Okay, well follow me. I think that Degrassi, the Next Generation, obviously I don't think Miles and Maya works, because I think Miles was very immature, and I think he was dealing with so much shit from home that it made him impulsive, and it made him show, red flags. His behavior and the things that he did, it scared Maya because he was very unpredictable. But I think in next class they would have worked, because I think Miles he grew mature, and who he was in Next Generation wasn't who he was when he graduated from the show. He got into writing, he went to school in Europe, he was getting a job as a lifeguard. So who he was in Next Generation isn't who he was when the show ended. I think Maya and Miles would have definitely worked in next class, and I would not have been against if they wanted to explore them in next class to possibly being in game. I'd have been okay with it, because I think they would have worked way more in next class than they did in Next Generation. I'm not mad that Maya and Zig were in game. For those who think I am, or I might be bitter, or whatever the case might be, I'm not any of those things. I'm not mad that Maya and Zig were in game. What I'm mad at is that they had Zig cheat on a girl that he spent damn near his entire high school chasing after. And the second he get with her, he allowed his insecurities and jealousy to make him make a dumb decision that he didn't take any accountability for, and automatically put the finger on Maya. First of all, why would I ever want to be with a guy who can't take accountability for hurting me? That just don't make sense to me. So yes, I feel like Maya real endgame is with Cam. I feel like had Cam not done what he did in season 12, I feel like there would be no Maya and Zig. There wouldn't even be a conversation. I definitely feel like Maya and Cam would have lasted until the end of the show. 100,000%. Y'all don't think so? Leave it down in the comments. We can argue, we can motherfucking debate, we can do whatever y'all want to motherfucking do. But I would down the hill that Maya and Cam the real endgame. And for those who say they never felt anything romantically and that it was just platonic, shut the fuck up. For real. Y'all shit on Maya and Cam because y'all like Maya and Zig so much. Be for real. Just say the truth. Stop saying, oh, no, fuck all that. Y'all hate Maya and Cam because y'all like Maya and Zig. It's cool. You got your preference. But if y'all gonna be for real, Maya and Cam were the real end game. Let's be 100%. Come on now. Let's be real. They were the real end game. So the whole Zig and Maya and Cam love triangle, I like it. Is it the best written love triangle? No. The reason why I'm saying no is because kind of like with the Bianca thing for the Katie and Drew love triangle, I feel like Bianca, just like Zig, I think they took a back seat. If you want it to be a love triangle, they need to be participated in it. They need to be involved. They can't just show up in one episode and then not be in the next episode if you're doing a love triangle. It needs to be participation. There needs to be a part of it. And a lot of people go say, oh, but Ashley wasn't in the Manny Craig thing. She was participating in it. She played her role by being a dumb girlfriend. Hello? That's how she played her role. She played her role by being a dumb girlfriend. Katie didn't... Bianca wasn't really a part of the storyline for real, because, like I said, one episode she was there, and the next episode she wasn't, and she kind of went MIA after the whole game storyline. But Katie wasn't really involved either because she was so high on drugs, so when you finally had Drew admit his feelings to Bianca, it felt like more of a continuation of their love story. For those who thought that this was the end of them, we finally get that clarification that no, it's not. You feel me? That's just how I feel with the Maya, Zig, and Cam love triangle. I feel like Zig wasn't really involved. I feel like he took a back seat, and even after he broke up with Tori, he continued to take a back seat. He wasn't really involved for real, and it felt more like a love story for Maya and Cam, for not the continuation for their love, for their relationship. I feel like Zig took a back seat, so I like it. It's not bad, but it's not the best written. You feel me? The next two love triangles, I love one of them, but the other one I'm kind of iffy. So the one I'm kind of iffy with is the Drew, Claire, Eli one. Oh my God, where do I even fucking begin? This love triangle, it's this storyline, these characters. Oh my God, they were kind of all over the place. I'm not gonna mention every nick and cranny because I have videos and topics and rants talking about the whole Eli, Claire, Drew love triangle and how I really despise it. So then people gonna say, oh, so then why is one of your favorites? I would say this. The Eli, Claire, and Drew storyline to me is not one of my favorite storylines in Degrassi. Due to the fact that it ruined all three characters, I find the storyline to be extremely unfucking necessary. I only like it because it's drama. I like mess. It was drama. Claire getting pregnant, not knowing who her baby daddy was. Drama. It was absolute drama. But at the same time, I feel like Claire and Drew and Eli and all that, it kind of ruined their characters. Drew was just treated as a supportive character in season 13 and 14. He did little to nothing. Eli came back to season 14 and just was a boyfriend to Claire. Claire at this point, is just, I don't care for Claire. I never liked her. And then in season 13 and 14, I think my hatred for her really rose up even higher because I feel like she is a major hypocrite, and I feel like the only reason why y'all take her side on why y'all was not mad that she caused feelings for Drew is because Eli cheated. But then, like I said, nobody calls her out for cheating emotionally. She might have done what she did with Drew when they were broken, while she broke up with Eli. But she emotionally checked out a relationship with Eli before she ever did anything physically with Drew. You feel me? Since she emotionally checked out with Eli, that is how she emotionally cheated with Drew. She emotionally cheated with Drew because she was building emotional connection. She was having deep conversations with Drew. That's intimate. That's intimacy. Talking all night with someone who's not your boyfriend, going out late and working late and growing a connection. All that is intimacy. So she tried to pretend like she wasn't in love with Eli, even though I feel like she mostly checked out of her relationship with Eli. Obviously, when he came back and checked her about her breaking up with him over voicemail, obviously Drew knew that it was still feelings there and knew that if him and Claire got together, he would just be nothing but her rebound, which is 100% true. I'm glad they never made Drew and Claire into an actual relationship. I'm glad it was just something that was a sexual attraction, and it was just something that they did and they got it over with. Thank God. But when the girl said that she could see they were about to pull something with Claire being pregnant, I absolutely agree. When I go back and watch the show, I knew they were going to do some shit like that, because the way Drew and Claire left off, they did leave off kind of unresolved, and they just put him in a relationship with Becky, which was always kind of cringe. And like I said, I didn't like that Eli came back to season 14 and was just Claire's boyfriend and was just about to be her baby daddy and all this other shit. I think it was just too much. So, Claire, Drew, and Eli's love triangle. I despise it like anything. I don't like the storyline at all. It was really stupid. I thought they could have done anything else. Like, at this point, Drew was just with any bitch in Degrassi. He was with Zoe. He was with Becky. He was with Claire. He was with any bitch. They just paired him with anybody. They just wanted him to be a boyfriend. That's it. He was nothing else. He was just in relationships. That was really fucking annoying. And then Claire, oh my God, Claire, I'm just say this and I'm done talking about this bitch. Claire in seasons 13 and 14, if I could just sum it up in one sentence, she walked around and act like her shit didn't stink. I'ma just say it like that. She was shitting on, she act like everybody else had on their shitty Pampers compared to her. Drew had on a shitty pamper, Eli had on a shitty pamper, but she didn't have on a shitty pamper. She was clean and all natural, right? But the reality is, she did have on a shitty pamper. And she walked around and act like her shit didn't stink. And I hated that. When it's like, girl, you're walking around with a shitty pamper too. Bitch, you ain't all holier than now. Get the fuck out of here. So yes, I hate the Drew and Eli and Claire love triangle. I despise it. I only like it because I like drama and I like mess. That's it. Other than that, no. And I think, for real, my favorite love triangle in the show, because I know everybody's favorite love triangle is the Craig and Manny one, but I think honestly my favorite love triangle in the show is the Maya, Zig, and Miles love triangle for season 13. That was the best storyline of season 13. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. The sophomores carried seasons 13 and 14 on their back. Period. The seniors didn't. The only senior who got any storylines was Claire. That's it. Nobody else got storylines. Not Allie, not Dallas, not Jenna, not Connor, not Drew, not Becky, nobody else. The only senior who got storylines was Claire. Season 13 was really, and season 13 and 14 was really her season. I mean, she was the only senior who got storylines to the point that it was like, damn, is she just one senior class? Where the fuck are the rest of the students? Because why is she the only one getting storylines? I just like the sophomores in season 13 and 14 carried the fucking show. Hands down. I don't care. They carried the show. The Maya, Zig, and Miles love triangle with the love triangle I didn't know I needed up until they did it. It was filled with so much drama, the back and forth. I mean, honestly, when Miles came out, when he grabbed Winston's toy gun and used that bitch like it was real up to Zig's head, that just showed me the length he was willing to go to show Zig that he was tired of feeling like he has to share Maya. That shit was crazy. The OG generation would have never pulled a stunt off like that. So off top, Miles putting a fake gun to Zig's head and making him feel like it was real, off top, the best love triangle in the show. I don't give a fuck of the show. My favorite. It was filled with so much drama, back and forth. Maya leading on Zig and Miles, not knowing who she wanted to be with. Maya and Miles constantly breaking up, getting back together. Zig want to be with Maya, but then acting like a jerk. like when I go back and watch this season 13, Zig really was a jerk. Like he kind of had this thing where if he knew that Maya had feelings for Miles, he wasn't her friend. But if they were broken up, he was all over her. Like I said, I really feel like Zig was really thirsty for her because the show was trying to make you feel like Maya was really the only girl he ever really wanted, which is just cap, because even though he kind of chased Maya, if you were a girl in Degrassi who gave Zig any ounce of attention, he was on your ass like grass. Zoe, Esme, Frankie, and next class, all of them, he was on their ass like grass. So as much as the show was trying to confuse you and make you feel like, oh yeah, Maya was really the girl he wanted, he was thirsty when it came to other girls too. I don't give a fuck. Y'all could try to make it seem like it wasn't that or whatever. We all must have watched different shows because I know what the fuck I saw and I know what the fuck I watched. So that's that. I feel like the Maya, Zig, and Miles love triangle was fucking excellent. And I feel like Maya was really the bad guy and she was really the bad guy, and I feel like nobody ever calls her out on that. I feel like everybody is so quick to say, oh, Miles was so out of line for doing what he did, putting a gun to Zig's head. Don't get me wrong, was it a lot? Hell yeah, it was a lot, because I feel like there were other ways that Miles could have told Zig to back off. But I think he saw that talking to Zig and letting him know that him and Maya were in a relationship wasn't working. So he had to do something to let him know that you really need to back the fuck up. And I feel like Maya was really the bad guy for real, because she continued to lead Zig on. She never told him that she didn't feel that same way about him. Like I said, whenever Miles was acting right, she ran to Zig, and when she didn't want to be with Zig, she ran to Miles. So, and they kind of let her do it, and I feel like Miles really wanted Maya to just be truthful. Like, why would you let this nigga put a bracelet around your wrist if you know you don't feel the same way? Why do I need to be the bigger person and be okay with our relationship being in secret when me and you are together? Why do we need to protect Zig's feelings? I don't owe that nigga nothing. I'm not in a relationship with him. I'm in a relationship with you, period. All that shit just makes me feel like you feel something for Zig. Otherwise, why do you mean you need to be a secret? I don't blame Miles for being paranoid and feeling insecure or getting jealous because Maya didn't know how to nip shit in the bud by basically saying, you know, if Miles ain't acting right, I'm going to leave my option open. But it's like, Maya really was the bad guy for real. I didn't already made a video about it 1,000 times. Go and look him out. Maya really was the bad guy in that whole love triangle, and I just feel like nobody ever calls her out on it for real. She really was the bad guy. So this is my little take on the little love triangles of Degrassi. Like she said, I 100% agree. I feel like in a new generation, when Degrassi did not know how to write storylines or didn't know what to do with certain characters, they did just write love triangles. I mean, holy shit, there are a lot of love triangles in the new generation that they want to say there are love triangles or whatever. It's a lot of them, and it's just like, holy shit, it's just too many of them. And it's just like, damn, what happened to characters getting their own individual storylines? That's what I'm saying. The newer generation, everything really was a little too much relationship based, and that's really because they were really, the newer generation was more to my audience, to the kids who grew up in the 2010s, compared to the kids who grew up in the earlier 2000s who were watching Degrassi, you know, from 2002 through, 2009, I guess you could say, because I think the 2010 area started in 2010. So seasons 10 through 14 is my era. So of course it's more social media, more on relationships, boyfriend and girlfriend drama, you feel me? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I didn't like that stuff, but I do wish sometimes Degrassi would have eased up on the relationship drama and did more with their individual characters. So that's what I really got to say. Like I said, I'm going to catch y'all guys in my Legend of Korra video and my LGBTQ video. You already know. And like I said, if there's more topics y'all want me to talk about, Degrassi Next Generation or Degrassi Next Class, please let me know. Give me more topics so I can do more and more and more. Up until next time, it is nice talking to y'all. Catch y'all on my next video.